This one is called Choose. I see the light as the cock starts to crow. It is a day full of promise. It is life once again. How shall I live it? I can't recreate the past. That only causes suffering. Making memories for the future causes suffering too. In cold nights, those warm blankets wear thin. I choose to enjoy what this day may bring, then let it go with gratitude. If it be painful, it will pass too, if I don't hold on to it. I may not be able to choose pleasure or pain, but I can choose not to suffer. That's one of those ones I wrote this. I wrote this back in. I can't even think right now. Okay, I wrote this back in September of last year, and I've been trying to write some stuff. Kind of, I've been doing a lot of thought about Buddhist things and the Buddhist way of living and stuff like that. So that's really what this is about, because one of the things that I've always done in my life is tried to recreate the past and tried to make memories for the future. Because I also used those memories as kind of like I said, as a warm blanket to wrap myself up in. But as I got older and older, those blankets wore thin, and those memories turned bitter after a while and cold, because they just didn't have the warmth that they once did. And so I found myself doing that a lot. I would often, think to myself, "Ooh, this is going to be the most epic, whatever." The best meal, the best movie, the best whatever, and try to put together, all the elements of it, and end up just having a lot of times having just a craptastic time, because I couldn't get everything together the way I wanted, and I ended up causing myself suffering because of it. I remember this one time. It was I had planned for like 2 weeks. I wanted to watch this certain thing on PBS that I had missed previously, and they were going to rerun it. And so it had been like 2 weeks, and I was living with my mom, and she was going to be out for the evening, and I thought, oh yeah, this is going to be wonderful. I'm going to get me some Italian food. I'm going to get me some liquor, and it's going to be a wonderful time. And it started out because I was going to go to the Italian place that they didn't take credit cards, and I didn't have any cash, so I stop at the first ATM and it doesn't work, and I stop at the next ATM and it doesn't work, and finally, I'm back over at the restaurant, and so I decided I was gonna just order my food, and then I'm gonna go over to my bank, which was a little ways away, because it was gonna take them like 20 minutes. So I ended up going to my bank to get the money for the food, and I was just more and more and more pissed, and then I get home, and my mom's like, "Please record this shit," and I'm like, "Fuck," and I just came unglued, and by the time she got home, I was just seething. I was pissed off at everything, and it was one of the worst things ever, and it was. I see how a lot of times that would happen, because it would just go downhill, because uh, And I don't know why that is, because, it's like when one ATM doesn't work, the next one doesn't work, and the next one doesn't work, and it's like, what the fuck? And the world's conspiring against you to do what you want to do. And yeah, so I kind of got freaked out about that, and even years later I think about it. It's one of those things that it was years later before I really understood that, I was trying to make a memory for the future is what I was trying to do. And in doing that, I was trying to make everything so perfect. And, when one thing went wrong, another thing went wrong, and it just went downhill instead of just thinking to myself, after the first time, it's like, well, maybe this isn't going to happen. But I pushed and I pushed and I pushed, and then, it was the last straw to try to record this other thing and try to watch what I wanted to watch. And so that's kind of the quintessential, my experience of that sort of thing. Christmas before last, and this Christmas too, I've really tried to keep that in mind. All I got left is my mom for family, so I went to see her for Christmas year before last, and we were at the store, trying to buy food and stuff for Christmas dinner, and they're out of turkeys, and I just decided to myself, and I convinced her too. It's like, if they've got the traditional stuff, yeah, we'll buy it. If they don't, they don't have turkey. We bought some Cornish game hens, and we just bought some stuff we like to eat instead of trying to buy the exact same stuff that we had bought, in years past. And it turned out wonderful. To me, it was a wonderful memory, and I didn't try to make it a memory. I just decided to go with the flow and go with what was good. And I saw to myself too that in years past, that's one thing that always messed up the family is pushing and pushing to try to make that memory and try to recreate what was in the past. The exact same recipes and the exact same this, the exact same that. And most of the time, well, you can't do that. You can't do that, and you mess yourself up trying. And eventually too, the same people, the family can't always be together for that holiday, and people die, people move on, and so it can't be the same holiday your entire life, because everybody's not going to be there. And that's been a hard lesson. And that's why I decided to write this poem. And I hope this helps you out and maybe gives you something to think about. This is Jim Fremont. Blessed be y'all.